Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to the Black Wallet. As always, we are on a journey to building a generational legacy, and in today's video I just wanted to share with you my experience with doing business with the Chinese. I noticed one of the most viewed videos on this channel is the import and export business between Zambia and China, how to go about it and everything related to exporting to Zambia. In today's video, I came with another take on basically how you do business with the Chinese, the pros and the cons. Stay tuned. From my experience, doing business with the Chinese means exposure to a wide variety of goods. That means they're going to be affordable because there are like 3 or 4 competitors within the Chinese manufacturing industry that would want to supply to you. So the prices vary. It's just important that you do your homework before you purchase, because you can get a good deal out of any product. Number 2, Chinese are reliable in terms of delivery, in terms of what you pay for. So listen to this. There's actually a grade for everything that you're going to receive. There's first grade, second, third, and even the lowest grade. What you pay for is what you're going to receive. The Chinese are very flexible to negotiation. What they look forward to is long-term business. So at least they have an ear for you. Long-term business. So what basically most of the Chinese companies that I've worked with are looking for is a long-term rapport, a long-term relationship. Can they trust you? Can you trust them? So most of them you're going to work with look for a long-term relationship, a long-term partnership. So you have to do your part as they do their part. Security. Firstly, as long as you are dealing with the right people, I find China very secure in terms of you transferring money. The Chinese banking system is highly secured. It's got a lot of restrictions, so it's really not possible that maybe your money can even be drawn without your permission, for example, because you purchased online. There's a very high security system with regards to their banking system. When you do business with them, you are guaranteed at least the security on your end with regards to your bank account, your banking details, your privacy. That's guaranteed. Then secondly, you're also guaranteed security in terms of who you're transacting with. I always recommend you do your homework. It does not mean scammers don't exist, but I always recommend you do your homework, because majority of the Chinese, when it comes to business, are honest. There's 1 out of 10, but most of them are honest. So why I'm picking the Chinese is because, in my opinion, it's more accessible than America, than German. It's easy to ship things from China to Africa, and I feel like it's more affordable, and like buying something from the States and just the process of doing business. Plus, the Chinese have a variety, so I think that's why I'm just focused on the Chinese for this particular video. It's also important that you know the things that can affect your business or your relationship with the Chinese. Number 1 is communication. You know, Mandarin is wide. The dialects are also different. There are people who speak Cantonese. The way you pronounce words is different. Even though you speak Mandarin, I speak Mandarin, at least I'm at least fluent. I speak Mandarin, but even though I'm going to have a conversation, I studied my Mandarin from Jiangsu University. Me studying in that particular province, it affects how I pronounce words. So if I went to Guangzhou and I'm pronouncing certain words, they're not really going to understand. They really have to pay attention because the pronunciation might be different. Even the dialect might be different. So that becomes a challenge in terms of communication. How are you going to communicate effectively? It really is a disadvantage. I'll give you an example. So last week I was speaking to my supplier with regards to her body go, and she informed me that you still have a balance. You are owing us about $700. And I said, for what? because the last I checked, everything was shipped to me and I paid. And she's like, no, what you ordered, you said 200 pieces. And the 200 pieces came with 5 resistant bands inside. So that meant they produced like way more than I even needed, you know. So they were asking me to pay, else they won't be able to do my next order. And I tried to negotiate with them like it was your fault, because I told you I want 200 of them. So each resistant band, 200 pieces, not like 5 in a bag, you know. So there was a miscommunication there, and now I have to pay them for what I didn't even plan for. So communication is a big deal if you're going to deal with the Chinese. I highly recommend you really utilize a translator, especially if your order is too big. So because there's an issue of communication, remember, most of them can't speak English, or they are not fluent in English, so they might misspell your brand. I remember the first order I did of her body go, I didn't even notice. I probably set it here so you get to see what I mean. I didn't even notice it was spelled her body gao. And for them, gao is a word in Chinese. So it's easy, like, you know, that typing error. So imagine I ordered my quantities and it's like her body gao, you know. So you really have to pay attention even to the spellings of your brand if you're getting anything custom made. Hey, if you offend the Chinese, yo, I'm really speaking from experience. Most of them, you really have to be patient. Most of the Chinese I know are short-tempered. So you could get into an argument and the business deal just goes unresolved. You lose, they don't care, you know. So you really have to be careful in terms of how you communicate with respect. At the same time, I really do expect them to respect me, but you just have to be patient in terms of communication. Otherwise, they easily get offended, and yep, that could be the end of your business deal. With regards to quality, sometimes you might get, not sometimes, it's often possible you'll be shipped the wrong quality. Most of them, especially with COVID now, most of the people want to get rid of their stock. So as a result, they're just literally sending everything. And sometimes it's not what you pay for. They'll ship you something that is low quality. And sometimes you just have to be careful to ensure you check your quality even before it's shipped to you. I recommend sending someone to physically inspect your order so that you get the best of what you paid for. Like anywhere else, it's possible you can get scammed. It doesn't mean Chinese cannot scam you. 1 out of 10 from my experience. And sometimes you find people pretend to be Chinese, and they could be Nigerian or from any other country, confirming your order. So you really have to do your homework. It's possible you can get scammed, especially with the online transactions we are doing now. You are really not going to get what you paid for, so you really have to be careful. There's an online fake face. I call it an online fake face, where people pretend to be Chinese, or even the Chinese themselves don't have those goods, but they may take advantage of you, which is something of a disadvantage doing business with them, especially in this COVID era. You really have to do your homework. Woo! So that's basically it. In my own opinion, doing business with the Chinese, I will give it 80 out of 100. The 20 is basically because of communication and also just wrong orders as a result of miscommunication, wrong quality also. I just feel they are honest people and are very hardworking. That's one thing that I really admire from them. Chinese are hardworking. They really do know how to work for their money and invest it wisely. And that's why I give them an 80, because I learned from them as well. That's basically it.